Hello! I am in my home studio and you may notice something a little different in here. I now have a litho press in my studio. I got this at the end of spring and I finally set it up with the help of a few people last month. I haven't had enough time yet to really do a lot of printing on it. I've just been learning the ins and outs, but let's take a look at this lovely piece of equipment and how it works. This is a beautiful Victorian era press made of cast metal. It is very heavy and it took a lot of work and for adults to put the frame together. And once we had the frame on there, we could add the press bed, which slides back and forth along some runners on the frame. Okay, so the press bed is going to be able to move back and forth, but you need something to apply pressure. And the point of contact is actually going to be from this scraper bar. And if we come around the back here, you notice there's a little sort of screw to tighten or loosen. That is what is going to be holding the scraper bar in place. So we're putting it leather strap side down, trying to get it in about halfway, and then tightening it to hold it in place. So the scraper bar is in place, but still when I roll this through, it's not going to connect. And that's because once you get to the point where you're ready to print, you have to engage the pressure. When you engage the pressure, the press bed actually comes up, where most newer presses, your scraper bar is going to come down to connect. So if you notice when I pull this, it is pushing up the press bed, and that is what is going to engage the pressure. Now to set the pressure, which I may have to adjust a little bit once I get into printing, but first I am going to put some paper down, and then I will have a thicker backing paper. And on top of this, I will be placing a tympan. So the scraper bar is going to be connecting with the tympan. Now it's also very, very important that we grease this up. If it doesn't have grease, it's not going to slide over the surface and you're not going to be able to crank the handle and actually get the press bed to move through. When I got this press, it was pretty much all there. And the only piece that was missing was something to adjust the height of the scraper bar. So luckily, I found something that I can use, and it's actually very easy with this socket wrench to adjust accordingly. So right now I have way too much pressure. And now way too little. So let's just go with little increments. Okay, so it's definitely connecting. I'll probably still need to increase the pressure once I get into printing, but I don't want to start too high, so I'm gonna leave it about there. And the other thing that I'm going to need once I get into printing is, of course, a handle to turn it. I can take my handle off pretty easily so that I have a bit more space to walk without whacking my leg. And it just snaps in with this nice little piece of metal and rotates. Of course, it's not moving right now because the pressure is not engaged. This is not going to do anything until I pull down the lever and engage the pressure between the scraper bar and the tympan and the stone underneath, or in this case, the plate block. Now let's get set up for printing. Okay, I finally got it to a good pressure for printing. Have to let this dry a little bit. Now this paper, although it's not totally textured, it is a little more textured and therefore doesn't pick up as much ink as the Gampi that you might see me normally printing with. But I kind of like that for this image because I was going for sort of a ghostly effect. Backing papers down, timpin down, get it to the right spot, pull the lever and roll. Pull back to the starting point. Take all the backing papers off. And now let's see what we got. Here's the print in its current state, which with the dimness of my studio at the moment, it's a little challenging to see. If we take a closer look over here, the prints definitely have a bit of a ghostly feel to them, which is what I wanted, so I'm very happy with it. I think one more layer and it will be where I want it to be. So you can get an idea of the progression. This was the first layer printed, and you can really tell with the second layer the face is starting to emerge from the background. Anyway, it's really fun to have this new tool to play around with. My thought is always, if you have the equipment, then definitely use it. But if you don't, you can always print things by hand. There's a lot of amazing things you can do without a press. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully see you soon with another video.